Let me ask you a deep question. When we remember an ex-partner, do we miss the person themselves or the version of ourselves that existed in their presence? Memory is never neutral. When we think of someone we once loved, the mind does not only summon their image, their voice, their gestures. It also recalls the mirror they held up to us, the self we became in their company. To remember an ex-partner is often to remember not only who they were, but who we were beside them. Softer, younger, more daring, or perhaps more fragile. Love does not exist in isolation. It is a dance of identities, and the echo of that dance remains long after the music ends. Sometimes we convince ourselves that we miss them. We imagine their presence in our lives again, the warmth of their laugh, the comfort of their embrace. But if we sit with the ache more carefully, we may realize what we miss is not necessarily the person, but the version of ourselves that was alive when they were near. We may long for the innocence of that era, the hope we once carried, the feeling of being chosen, seen, desired. What we are nostalgic for may be less about the ex-partner and more about the lost self we fear we may never reclaim. And yet, this does not mean our longing is false. People do matter. Ex-partners shape us in ways that cannot be erased. But perhaps the most honest reflection is that we are mourning both, the relationship and the self that bloomed within it. Recognizing this dual loss can free us, for it allows us to grieve not only them, but also to seek out the parts of ourselves that do not need to be left behind. So, do we miss them, or do we miss who we were? Perhaps the truth is that love intertwines those two threads so tightly that they can never fully be separated. To reflect on them is always, in some way, to reflect on ourselves.